So, got some, I guess you could say, wrestling news to talk about here. Apparently, first of all, to start off, it seems that Bray Wyatt missed a major MSSG Madison Square Garden show this weekend and was replaced by Braun Strowman. Now, a lot of people were, of course, curious as to what's been going on. Why has Bray been missing, several shows? And this includes, Raws and SmackDowns, especially since he's in a program, as it be right now, with Bobby Lashley going into WrestleMania. A lot of people are wondering what's going on. And apparently rumors have been a-flying. And I mean a-flying at the fact that he may have walked out over creative differences. That he may have walked out seeing Vince backstage on Raw, or hearing about Vince being backstage at Raw, and thought, oh God, this guy's back, he's in charge again, I'm out of here. People have been coming up with all different kind of theories and speculations as to what's going on with Bray. Well, right now as we speak, the match with Bobby Lashley is, as we speak, still scheduled to go on at WrestleMania. How they get to it, hopefully, safe and sound, that's on Bray Wyatt and WWE's part. Now, according to very reliable sources like Fightful Select, Bray Wyatt is out with an undisclosed physical issue. Now, of course, a lot of people read into this, and they basically feel that that's just WWE's way of covering up the truth. There's WWE's way of saying, "Oh, the reason Bray's not here is because he has an injury. He's physically not able to be here right now. He's under the weather." And a lot of people look at that as WWE covering up the real reason. And the real reason is Vince McMahon's in charge again. He's in charge, and run for the hills. Bray Wyatt's getting out while he can. And that could be further from the truth. Some are saying that they're covering up because the rumor is Bray Wyatt walked out due to creative. That's further from the truth. Because according to Fightful Select, and I am reading it right here, they say, and I quote, 3 hours ago, this is what they say, and I quote, Bray Wyatt sidelined with quote-unquote physical issue per WWE sources. This is what they said 3 hours ago, and I quote, Bray Wyatt's absence from an MSG live event on March 12th, this past Saturday, or yesterday actually, not Saturday, but yesterday, has a lot of fans concerned about his status. Fightful has learned a little bit about it, at least what those in WWE are saying. WWE sources familiar with the situation who have worked with Wyatt claim to Fightful that Bray Wyatt is currently sidelined with a, quote, physical issue, and they're not sure on a return time as of now. There have been rumors that Wyatt had walked out due to creative issues, but thus far, we haven't gained any information that would confirm that, and haven't been told that from anyone in the company thus far. It states, and I quote, Bray Wyatt has been slated for other live events and episodes of SmackDown, but was pulled from those due to the physical issues WWE sources claim. However, even though he's been sidelined, Bobby Lashley continued the feud without Bray Wyatt being there, including last week in a backstage segment. As of one point this weekend, Lashley wasn't scheduled for Raw. Almost weekly, Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy materials are sent to the site of SmackDown, but haven't been for the last 2 episodes of SmackDown. We're told Bray hasn't been planned for creative. They say, and I quote, "We're told Bray hasn't been planned for creative for those shows and isn't scheduled for Raw. We'll reach out for more on this situation throughout the day, including rumors of creative issues. To make it clear, through one source has denied those creative issues. We'll continue to ask about the validation or the valid easy for me to say. But they're basically saying, to make it clear, through one source has denied those creative issues. We'll continue to ask about the validation, of it. In an update, WWE Creative were told that Bray was out due to illness. He hasn't been at recent WWE events or television. He also wasn't on the Eternal MSG rundown as of Friday. So basically, the physical issue might also be, might be an illness. Now, we know the most common illness could be COVID. And if it's COVID, that would explain why he's out. 2 weeks tops, 10 days to 2 weeks tops is how long you got to be out. Maybe even 5 days at the latest. Now, they continue this on they do continue on around the same time frame, about 3 hours ago. This is what they say, and I quote, "In an update on the Bray Wyatt story, WWE Creative was told in recent weeks that Bray has been sidelined with an illness. There's no timetable on his return as of now, but they didn't expect it to be long term when they got the news. He hasn't been at recent WWE live events or television. He also wasn't on the Eternal MSG rundown as of Friday." So yeah, take that if you will. Take that if you will, depending on whether or not you believe them. And Fightful Select and Sean Ross Sapp, you ask anybody out there. You ask anybody out here on YouTube and in the IWC, and the YWC, they will tell you that Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful and people like PW Insider and Mike Johnson there are very reliable. More reliable than the likes of a Brian Alvarez, a Dave Meltzer, and anybody else. So basically what they're saying, according to the sources they've reached out to, Bray Wyatt is out with a physical issue, aka illness, which again, I'm just speculating on this, could be either the flu, or it could be COVID-19. Remember, a lot of wrestlers across both major companies, WWE and AEW, were out for quite some time. Piper Niven just came back from a massive battle with COVID-19. A massive battle with COVID-19. She probably didn't expect to be out as long as she was, but because it was a major hindrance to her health, she was out for quite some time. Rhea Ripley, even though she's been appearing on television, or had been appearing on television in somewhat of a non-physical role until recently, had been out, in ring-wise, due to a brain a situation with her mind, with her brain, if you will. So basically, this is not a surprise to me if it is an illness that might be COVID-19 related, if not maybe flu related. I mean, you don't want to take a chance that you could contaminate somebody at your workplace. So more than likely, if it is an illness, not just a physical issue either, but an illness, it could be COVID-19 related. Now, there are photos that have shown up online of his hand kind of being a little wonky, and reports of him wearing a knee brace. So those could be other reasonings too. Maybe he's out for the time being, and they're saying, hey, stay out of the ring, don't go to the other events, heck, don't even do promos, physically heal yourself up before your WrestleMania match. That might be what they're telling him, and that's why Bobby Lashley, on occasions, except for maybe tonight, is the one picking up the slack. But we shall see. Now, getting back to, the rumors of he walked out because of creative. He walked out because Vince showed up. Those rumors, as far as it sounds like right now, are false. And, this is the one thing that really gets me sometimes, and I'm not the only one. I mean, I understand, and I've said it numerous times before, years of Vince basically driving the WWE into the ground has left a major negative impression on a lot of people, to the point that even if they hear one thing about Vince being near creative, near gorilla, even if he has nothing to do with it, and he's just there visiting, it will throw their mindset out of whack. And their mindset will automatically, especially when they hear news like this, will automatically go to, oh, that was Vince that did that. It was all Vince. Vince is calling the shots. Yep, Vince is in charge again. Oh, well, the days are good. It's over. It's over. Let's be honest, okay? Let's be totally, effing honest, all right? The only reason people go out there, even those that I watch and support and subscribe to here on YouTube, those people, the only reason they say those kind of things is because unfortunately to them, negative news, bad news, gets attention for them. That's what it is. It's about, ooh, if I make it sound like this is going on, and I put that in the title of my video, my live stream, people will come and watch me. Because they know, through various reports throughout the past year or so, if not the past half year, YouTube's algorithm, especially when it comes to live streams, is not all there right now. And it's still an issue that needs to be addressed. That is why they do this. That is why they do this. They say, to their mindset, and they know probably that it's BS what they're doing. They know it's BS what they're doing, but they realize the only way I'm going to get attention is to put this in my title or put this in my description. Because they know it gets people talking and saying, ooh, I gotta tune into that guy. Oh, I gotta tune into this girl. You know, because they're saying this. I want to hear what they have to say. I want to know why they're pointing this out when it's not true. It's about getting attention because the algorithm on the analytics, if you will, here on YouTube, especially with live streams, is off. And when it's off, for people that do this for a living or a partial living, they need all the attention they can get to get it back in their favor. That's why you see a lot of people playing up on the, oh, it's bad, oh, it's bad, oh, it's this, it's that. It's like seriously, you know, people need to not, I've said it before, they need not to let the paranoia and fear of what Vince did in the past, or their need for, you know, an actual accurate algorithm and analytics for them to basically be the reason they, you know, they put out live streams and give their opinions. You know, basically the old saying is, don't believe everything you say, everything you hear until you have the evidence. And if you come out and saying, oh, I don't need evidence, I don't need sources, I know, one day somebody's going to come up to you and say, okay, if you know, you then give me evidence. You show me proof. You know, if you believe you know so much, you show me the proof. They're going to ask you to do it. And when that day comes, you're going to have to be like, okay, fine. I can't prove it. It's just my opinion. I'm just speculating. And honestly, that's all people have to do when they talk about this kind of stuff. Instead of just saying, oh, well, I know, I don't need sources, I know. No. What they need to do is say, okay, what I'm about to tell you on this situation with Vince being backstage and what I feel, it's my opinion. I'm just spitballing here. I'm just speculating on what this could be. And then that's it. You know, that's it. The less, the less, exaggerated about it, the better. Because you're just saying, hey, this is how I see it. That's what's going on. Now, speaking of Monday Night Raw, this is the confirmed lineup according to Fightful. The confirmed following plans for Raw tonight, which is, of course, subject to change. They have Edge. They have these things planned out. Edge promo. The tag match WWE's been advertising with Gargano and Lumis against Judgment Day. A face-off between Omos and Brock Lesnar. Cody Rhodes against LA Knight. Elias versus Bronson Reed. A possible video package on Austin Theory and John Cena. Angelo Dawkins against Austin Theory. Rey Mysterio, Rey Mysterio promo. Seth freaking Rollins against Baron Corbin. Bianca Belair against Chelsea Green. And a street fight between Kevin Owens and Solo Sikoa. Now, that could all change. Take that as you will right now, but that could all change. Now, possibilities. Nothing set in stone. Possibilities. This is what is possible. Okay? NXT's Dante Chin is going to face Cedric Alexander in the main event taping, if that's not already going on. Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander are listed as a team internally, so they're back to being a tag team. Trick Williams of NXT is set to face Akira Tozawa on main event taping. And Candice LeRae is scheduled to accompany Gargano and Lumis tonight. Again, this is all possible, nothing set in stone. They say Rhea Ripley and MVP are set for the show. Rick Boogs was scheduled to accompany Elias to the ring. Again, these are just potential possibilities, nothing set in stone. Carmella and Chelsea Green are still paired together as of tonight. Again, possibility, nothing set in stone. Miz set for commentary during Rollins and Baron Corbin. Again, nothing set in stone. It's a possibility. It's just something being talked about. And they say there's no matches that appear to be particularly long tonight, which can change. Most are scheduled for the standard 1 or 2 segments. So again, certain matches could go long, may not go long. Again, we don't know. But as you can see right there, that's Raw tonight, but plans could change. Plans could change. And no, this possible lineup that I just read for you for Raw tonight is not a Vince McMahon lineup. This is not Vince McMahon work. Because if it was, then why are we getting Cody Rhodes and LA Knight? Why is that being advertised? Why are we getting, Bianca Belair, Chelsea Green? I'm just saying. The point is, not everything is Vince, has Vince involved. And again, like I said, you need to let that paranoia and that fear, as I've said many times, to stop clouding your judgment in your mind and think clearly and be like, okay, I think this is what you should do. If you believe it could be Vince, or you have a feeling it could be Vince, you should say to yourself, you know what, this feels like it's a Vince deal, but I'm going to wait and see. If the matches go an extended length that I enjoy and it's good, that's in a way that Vince wouldn't allow, then I'm convinced. That Vince is not involved there, but he has some, but maybe he has a little bit of an influence. Like maybe there's something there, but you just can't, grasp what it is. But that, in my opinion, you need to stop thinking that certain things have Vince written all over it when they don't. The Bray Wyatt situation, not Vince related, not creative related. It's illness, physical issue related. And if that illness, physical issue is something like COVID, again, let's not forget, Piper Niven was out for a while before she came back because of that. Bray Wyatt could be the same situation. For some reason, when it hits, and I say it with all due respect, no offense, when COVID hits, the more heavy-set people, out there, it basically has a longer lasting effect. And it takes a bit longer to recover. But again, that's just me thinking of what potentially that illness could be. But that's not the only wrestling news we could talk about here. No, it's not. The other wrestling news has to do with AEW. Now, we all know that AEW has a reality show premiering very soon, I think after Dynamite, within the next month or so. It's supposed to be like a backstage reality-based like show. So, we know that's coming. But apparently a third wrestling-oriented show, if you will, has been announced. And, presumably, easy for me to say, presumably, it is being set for a Saturday night time slot at the old 6 o'clock, 6:05 time slot that WCW Saturday night used to occupy. Now, this is scheduled to potentially debut in the summer, or at least the summertime. And I'm going to say this. Just like a lot of people, if you will, right now, well, not right now, but just like a lot of people are kind of like, I guess you could say kind of mixed about this, because, on the positive side, it gives AEW more exposure and, gives more of a reason wrestling fan-wise for people to tune in to TBS. However, there are people that are not too sure about this. Because it's like, why does Tony Khan need to put another show out there? Why does TBS want Tony Khan to put another show out there, especially at that old 6 o'clock, 6:05 time slot on Saturday nights? Why? What is it needed for? We already got, Rampage taped on Fridays, the night before. We got Dynamite live on Wednesday nights. We got Dark and Dark Elevation on Monday and Tuesdays on YouTube. And heck, if you want to add it to the situation, you have Ring of Honor television on Honor Club. So what's the need for another show? What is the need? There is none. There is none. And believe it or not, of all people to get negatively angry about this, JD from NY206 got upset about it. He got pissed about it. Because it's like, why do you need this? It's not needed. Especially in the summer when pretty much everybody, depending on the weather, is out and about on vacation at the beach, at Disneyland, at Universal Studios Hollywood, at Universal Studios Hollywood, Florida, Disney World, Hawaii, in the visiting places like Hawaii, Mexico, San Juan, Puerto Rico, you name it. What is the reasoning to put another show on and have it debut around that time frame? There is none. I mean, yeah, nowadays you could just wait for it to go on demand and everything and watch it when you get back, back to your hotel or get back to your tent, your campsite or whatever your plans may be for the summer. Maybe you get back home from a long trip to the beach and then come back home and relax, It's like, yeah, you could watch it at that time and catch up with it, but what's the point? All it really sounds like, according to some people, especially with the way JD put it, the way it sounds like, is this just going to be another, another taped show like Rampage, another taped show like Dark and Dark Elevation. What's the point of having it if you already have, shows that occupy those areas? Why do it? Why do it? Unless Dark is going to end up on that 6:05 time slot, and thus it goes from being a YouTube show to a TBS show. Okay, fine. That gives it a little bit more exposure than just being on YouTube, which honestly, if we will be honest, gives it a lot more exposure than TBS, but still, it puts it on a bigger platform. Or unless, they finally just come up with an agreement and saying, hey, we can put Ring of Honor on here. Okay, fine. You get Ring of Honor on a club, or Ring of Honor on 6:05 or 6 o'clock on TBS. Fine, that's great. But again, what's the significance of it if it's not going to be the Ring of Honor show that's behind an Honor Club paywall right now, or it's going to be a secondary Ring of Honor show that's just basically the equivalent, the Ring of Honor equivalent of Rampage or Dark. What's the point? There is none. So I can understand people's frustration. Again, like I said, the positive for TBS, for Warner Brothers Discovery, more AEW. It gets more eyes on their networks and everything, and that's good. For AEW, positive on their part, it gets them more exposure, gets them more out there than they are now. But in the long run, what's the real point? What's going to be the purpose? Is it going to be a recap show? You don't need a recap show. You could just put a recap show on the AEW YouTube page or YouTube channel. You don't need a recap show at 6:05 for an hour on Saturday nights. You don't need that. Or what's it going to be? A condensed version of Dynamite where you get only like two or three of the best matches of that past Wednesday show condensed into a 1 hour night, a 1 hour airing of on TBS? Is that, what's the purpose? We don't know. We don't know. I mean, because this is a question people want to know, and none of us know the answer. What's the purpose? What's the purpose of doing it? We don't know, because honestly, the way I look at it, the way everybody looks at it, there is no purpose. There is no purpose. Unless you're planning to make your Saturday night time slot your new SmackDown, and you make Rampage into your freaking superstars. That's the only way I look at it. Or you're going to turn... Oh, what? Are you going to turn AEW Saturday night into your NXT? Your equivalent of NXT? I'm just saying. I mean, I get that Tony Khan wants a lot of wrestling exposure for AEW. Wants a lot of exposure for them. So that way they're not something that, has maybe a decade's worth of existence and then fades away. You know, I know he doesn't want. I know he doesn't want that or anything. So he's doing what he can to get the product, as much exposure as he can. But there is a thing, as too much exposure. As there's a thing known as overexposure. The more you overexpose a product, of a certain genre, if you will, the more people are going to disdain it. Especially if that product's pretty much the same thing that they see on YouTube Monday and Tuesday nights, or Fridays on TBS already. It's like there's no reason for it. All you're doing is just feeding them the same stuff. Again, what's the point? What's the point for it? And like I said, none of us know what the point is. None of us know what the point is, except the only point is really it's not really needed. But again, this is another example. This is another example mainly of essentially, TBS, not TBS, but Warner Brothers Media, as I put it one time, I think. Unless I think I deleted that recording, didn't I? I don't know. But basically, this is just another example of, in my opinion, of revealing who the real boss, who the real runners, showrunners, owners of AEW are outside of Tony Khan. And that's Warner Brothers Discovery. This shows who the clear, legit, real boss and real owners are. And it's not Tony Khan, who, legitimately and realistically does own the company. But if he's agreeing to say, yeah, I'll put a third show out there, basically it shows that he's giving ownership, not literally, but figuratively, over to Warner Brothers Media, or Warner Brothers Discovery Media. And it's like, what you're doing, basically, is essentially going to kill your product. That's what you're doing. I mean, this is why people love WWE more so than AEW, even when WWE was in the dumpsters under Vince McMahon. Because there was less exposure of WWE over what's going on with AEW. Yeah, WWE had Main Event, but that's on Hulu and YouTube. Mostly Hulu. And WWE Network, and that's it. Yeah, they have NXT, and yeah, they have Raw and SmackDown, but those are three primary shows. There's three primary shows at decent time slots. Not at the time slots that Rampage is at, or potentially this is going to be at. And nowadays, basically not everybody is going to run or rush home, especially during the summer, and say, oh, I got to watch this new AEW show. I got to watch AEW Saturday Night. Or I got to watch AEW Saturday Dynamite. Or Saturday Explosion. Or whatever. Whatever they're going to call it. Saturday Collision. I don't know. Because again, what's the purpose of it? We don't know. What's the purpose? It's like, give us an answer as to what as to what the reasoning is behind this new show. It's like, what's the purpose of it? Is it going to be another, more exposed version of Dark and Dark Elevation? Is it going to be, is it going to be, another version of Rampage? What's the deal? What's the reasoning? Is it going to be a new Ring of Honor-like show where the primary show's on behind a paywall, but the secondary show is on TBS? Is it going to be a condensed version of Dynamite that runs for an hour and you only get like the best, segments and matches during that hour? What is it? What is it? Give us an answer, because we don't know. All we can do is speculate. So, yeah, apparently not everybody is too keen on this. There are some that are, but mostly some that aren't, because of the fact of we don't know what they're going to give us. We don't know the reasoning why they need another show outside of that new reality show they're getting after Dynamite. So, honestly, it's like, all we ask for here is an answer. It's like, Tony Khan, give us an answer. What's the reasoning for this? What's the purpose? What's this going to be like? Is it going to be, just another version, another extension, or more public, more profound version of Dark Elevation, Rampage? What's it going to be? Is it going to be condensed? A condensed version of Dynamite? What? We don't know. Are you going to is it going to be your interpretation of, Worldwide Wrestling? From WCW? And you're going to call it AEW Worldwide? What is it? Tell us. Give us an idea. Give us a clue. That's all we ask. Because if this is coming out in the summer, you need to give us a reasoning to stop what we're doing for 1 hour on Saturdays and tune into that show either by being at home watching it, being at a hotel watching it, or watching it on our phones or our tablets. You need to give us a reasoning, a very genuine reasoning and purpose as to what, as to why this show is going to be existing when it will be. You got to let us know, man. You got to let us know, because honestly, I've never seen someone like JD, who a lot of people look at as a true AEW suck-up and AEW Tony Khan ass kisser. I've never seen JD get so upset at the fact of, this is another hour of, another show becoming a reality on Saturday night at the old 6 o'clock, 6:05 time slot. I've never seen it. I've never seen him do that. I mean, usually he's more loyal, at times to AEW. He's more positive about them than WWE. I mean, yeah, he's critical at times, but he's more positive than, with them than WWE. But I've never seen him that upset, honestly. I've never seen it. But, again, he has to give us an answer. He has to legitimately give us an answer as to what is going on here and why we're getting another wrestling show during the summer, or premiering in the summer, in the old 6 o'clock, 6:05 time slot that WCW Saturday Night used to have on TBS. We need an answer, because we don't know what that answer is. We can only speculate. Because I don't know. I don't know what's going to be. I can't just say, oh, I know what Tony Khan's going to do. We can't. So, Tony, you need to let us know, man. You need to give us a clue. Is it going to be a condensed version of Dynamite? Is it going to be another version or another wrestling version of Dark and Dark Elevation, Rampage? What is it? Is it going to be a Ring of Honor show that's basically like the Superstar SmackDown of Ring of Honor to the primary show you have behind the Honor Club paywall? What is it? What is it going to be? You got to let us know, man. Got to let us know, because you got to give us a reason to tune in during the summer when a lot of us are on vacation to want to see what you're bringing to the table. You got it. But again, this is just, another example of who the real owners and bosses are of AEW. And it's not Tony Khan by a long shot, I'll be telling you that. But, yeah, give us a thought, man. Give us an answer, man. Give us an answer. Now, before I close out here, let's talk AEW Fight Forever. Now, the game is all set and ready to go. That's what I'm understanding. And apparently, its release date could be at the end of the month. Could be. But it could be a lot later. And why? Because apparently, Game Changer Wrestling and Brett Lauderdale is basically, I guess you could say, taking AEW to court over the Fight Forever rights. Now, you might say, well, they can't do that because fans in all of wrestling chant Fight Forever. WWE, New Japan, AAA, MLW, Impact. And that's true. But here's the reasoning, though. You want to know what the real reason is? It's because Brett Lauderdale wants to make sure that GCW can still use the Fight Forever name. Like, he doesn't want it tied to AEW exclusively. He wants to make sure fans could chant it still at GCW events and that they can promote under it. Yeah, that's the delay. They want to make sure that that AEW is going to say, you got our permission, man. Go for it. You can use it. That's what they want to make sure of. And that's why the delay is going on right now with the AEW Fight Forever game. Because apparently it's all set to go. Most of it's ready to set to go right now. It's just right now we have a delay thanks to Game Changer Wrestling, GCW. So we'll see what happens there. I don't think this situation is gonna last much longer. I think basically once it gets to court, the judge is gonna see what this is about and be like, seriously, Lauderdale, this is what you're taking them to court for? Case dismissed. Throw it out. That's what's gonna happen, in my opinion. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But anyway, though, guys, I just wanted to come on here, give you my thoughts on some of the wrestling news going on right now in WWE and AEW. Give you my thoughts and all that. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, as well as in the live chat during the premiere. Like the video. You will get an audio version of this at BW Rosas Discussions and all your favorite audio podcast platforms except for Pandora. You also can check me out at VENMO at BW Rosas for content you can't get anywhere else, especially here on YouTube. And there is content on there that you definitely can't get here on YouTube. Also, check me out at deviantart.com/BVW1979. Support me at Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2 and Cash App at BWRosas98. I'd be really appreciative if you can do that. And also check me out at patreon.com/BWRosas for the $1 or $3 tier. Also click on the upper left hand corner to check out my Teespring store for merchandise you can't get anywhere else. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are. And until then, I'm out.